there, I'm Amanda Ferris, author of You, the Sting Operative, Big Fat People Bumps, and several other titles. Have you heard it before? Anyone can be an author, but should they? Picture this. You're sitting on the floor in your bedroom closet at 4:17 a.m., awkwardly balancing your cell phone on one knee, doing your best to hold up what appears to be a makeshift pillow fort with the other. Your laptop and all of the ridiculous fobs required to connect a microphone are a dead giveaway that you are up to no good. And as you clutch a duvet covering the entire operation, you take a deep breath, swallow the excess saliva, hit record, and begin reading. What? This isn't what you had in mind when you set out to become an author? Me neither. Yet, this exact scenario occurred last week as my audiobook producer informed me the quality of the previous retakes didn't match my original book's voiceover reading from 3 years earlier. No surprise there. So, as I was about to leave town, I hurried to grab anything sound absorbing, hunkered down, and knocked out the final retakes. After I uploaded the file and finally hit the road, I couldn't help but laugh out loud as childhood memories flashed in my mind, and I realized that this is the very place my author's journey began. Like many kids, I loved stories. And it's always been at night when my imagination springs to life, so I wasn't going to let a little detail like bedtime get in the way of its exploration. I'd sneak into my sibling's bedroom and lay a blanket beneath the Kmart night light plugged into the wall, and then motion for just one more story as we huddled under a quilt that my grandmother made. Sometimes we were busted by a parent, and other times we got away with another round of stone soup, or my personal favorite, the monster at the end of this book. At the time, I was convinced it was the nightlight that was giving us away, but it was probably the giggling my parents heard from across the hall. Eventually, we ditched the light and the books, and I would then lay on the floor next to my brother or sister's bed and make up stories, answering their questions along the way. Perhaps we could say they were my first real critics. I would later learn through professional editors, having young people to poke holes in your copy for whatever age or target audience is extremely beneficial to ensure a clear message. But anyway, fast forward to life after high school, where I busied myself working multiple jobs, and my dream to be an author was just safely tucked away deep inside. I didn't tell a soul. Kids and even a couple teachers at my high school had me pretty convinced that my writing would never measure up and nobody would ever want to read it. So, well, that's another story for another day. I took every opportunity in my hospitality jobs to practice and grow. I wrote training curriculum and menu descriptions, later employee reviews and letters of recommendation, anything however small, just to keep my private dream alive. Most of my writing was pretty verbose and clumsy, but always honest. Through a series of unfortunate events, I found myself out of work and unable to physically move due to a work injury. So this forced me to sit with my thoughts with few distractions to save me, and I began to journal. As words flowed faster than the ink of my pen, I remembered the simple joy of expression which lay dormant inside me. Soon after, I was absolutely shocked to learn about self-publishing and the other various options available to would-be authors. My curiosity led me to workshops where I repeatedly heard, anyone can be an author. And while this statement is true, and what gave me belief in seeing the process through, anyone can indeed become an author, I now see the importance of asking, but should they? Okay, I can already anticipate some dreamer pushback, and I don't want to be the girl to piss in your Cheerios. After all, I've had my share of haters and naysayers, and I'm not Shakespeare nor any other notable figure in the writing or the publishing world. However, as someone who has gone through the process, I feel that I would be doing you a huge disservice not to come alongside you as a friend to ask, well, should you? Now, being bullied is not enough reason to justify bound words on a shelf, nor is the need to satisfy a wounded ego or get validation about who you are as a person, or prove your right to show up in the world, or get back at an ex, or a boss parent, or fix any hurt feelings whatsoever. Writing is for all of that. Publishing is not. Publishing can certainly come after the catharsis, but only after its author has removed their own emotional needs from the process. No matter how talented your writing, however unique your story, editing will, at some point, kick your teeth in. It's fantastic. It hurts, and it makes your work so much better. My first manuscript was agonizing, to write it and to read it. I didn't know this right away. Friends and family who love you and who have seen you live the struggle most likely want to honor your efforts and not hurt your feelings with brutally honest feedback because they've already seen you hurt enough. This is why you need to first, before you hire the coach, attend the workshop, invest your hard-earned money, energy, time, raking yourself over the coals of publishing. Ask yourself, I can write a book, but should I? I had to wait until months of wasted hard writing work and thousands of dollars to receive the priceless gift of a reality check on just how painfully bad my first book was. Boy, did my ego take a big blow that day. But I'm so grateful for the mentor who cared more about me than stroking my ego or blowing smoke up my butt to be quote unquote encouraging. He told me it was crap and not the me he knew. While these nuggets were hard to swallow, it turned out to be the most transformational moment in my author's journey. I didn't write for months as I wallowed and relived the unhealed childhood wounds, but after I worked through that, and I had to get really honest with myself, I had to ask, what did I actually want to say? What did I want my readers to know? And how on earth could I stop trying to hide my insecurities by trying to sound a certain way? We've all done it. Please do yourself a favor. Ask yourself if the hard work, investment, money, and time is worth what you have to say. And here's the payoff. If you're really meant to be the next Stephen King or J.K. Rowling, great. I'm cheering you on. Taking this honest moment with yourself shows you're a professional, and you'll be able to ask this same question with each project or line of editing. Does this belong? Is this just noise? Does it serve the plot? Does it serve my audience? Guess what? There will be many, many more questions like this you'll need to face every day as an author. Thank God for the gift of professional editors who really don't give a rip about your feelings or how beautifully you painted a picture in that sentence that simply doesn't belong. If you'd rather not do the work, spend the money, or there is something more worthy of your attention and investment, this conversation with yourself will save you the agony of beating yourself up with unmet expectations and an ever-moving horizon of someday when. Now think about the people in your life who want your attention. If you're sitting at the keyboard for hours, weeks, years, only half-heartedly pursuing something you believe will solve a problem or grant you special status, don't do it. Consciously decommit. It's okay. It's honorable. It's honest. You have nothing to be ashamed of for putting a dream to rest if it doesn't light you up going forward. There are many other ways to express yourself and have a tangible result to admire at the end of the process. You can still make a big difference without having author status. A book can be hard work, but it should be mostly enjoyable for the process. If you think the thing is what will make you happy, it won't. And an author's job begins with writing the book, but that's only a small part of being an author. And it's not exactly glamorous. If you don't enjoy the writing, your reader likely won't love what they're reading. And there's enough badly written books floating around out there. Okay, let's make this really clear. Your voice matters. So if you aren't all in on the whole writing thing, then don't water yourself down with something mediocre that, thanks to the immortal internet, will never go away. If you have something to say, say it. Find your voice, write it. Surround yourself with the honest and experienced mentors, coaches, editors, publishing partners, and other authors on their journey. Then get to work. Stop putting it off. Stop making excuses. It's gonna suck for a while, but if you want to do it, do it. Commit. I swear, my author's journey has taught me more about myself than about the creating of the books and the writing stuff. That alone has made everything worthwhile. Happy self-examining, my friends.